I'm R.A. Schwartz along with Rachel Galligan, and welcome to the Winsidr show where it's all about the W. Today, it is our honor to welcome to the show WNBA superstar, member of the Minnesota Lynx, and the 2019 WNBA Rookie of the Year, Napheesa Collier. If you like our show, please consider joining our Patreon community, patreon.com/Winsidr. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can directly show support for the hard work we do covering the W. And don't forget to see our amazing staff's written content over at winsidr.com. While you're there, you can check out our overseas tracker. It's live right now, and you can see where your favorite WNBA players are playing overseas all in one place. Very excited to welcome to the show Minnesota Lynx star, Napheesa Collier. First and foremost, how are you? What was the first thing you did when you got out of the wubble, and what have you been up to?
I'm good. I think the first thing I did when I got out of the wubble, honestly, just going home and sleeping in my own bed was amazing because sleeping in, I mean, we're in villas, but it's not your bed. It feels like you're in like a hotel or somewhere else. It's not the same. So when you come home and you smell your house and you get to lay in your bed, it's just the best feeling.
What was the first thing you ate when you got out of the wubble? Because I love, where was the first place you went out to eat?
Actually, I had my mom cook. She made some cassava leaves, which is an African food, and it's my favorite. So I had her cook that for me.
Awesome. Well, we are so happy that you're here. Welcome to the show. I want to take it back. I mean, take us back to day one, the moment you fell in love with basketball and kind of growing up. Who influenced you? Who helped you get to where you are now? And how did kind of this love story begin with basketball for you?
Yeah, so I played a lot of sports growing up. I played soccer for like 10 years, and I thought that would be my sport going to college. And then I started playing basketball in fourth grade. My first coach saw me at a softball game. I was pitching, and she's like, "Hey, you're tall. Do you want to come try out for my basketball team?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I haven't tried that sport yet." And it's kind of history from there. I loved like the team dynamics and how competitive it was, and I think I really started loving it probably late middle school, early high school. So yeah, I mean, and then I feel like high school, and I moved from Jeff City to St. Louis, and that's when I really just started focusing only playing one sport, basketball, and kind of knew that it's what I wanted to go to college for and what I wanted to play professionally and kind of make a career out of.
Was there somebody during your youth who kind of took you under their wing, or really was, we had Simone Augustus on the pod a few weeks back, and she was talking about how her dad would make her go on these crazy long bike rides and trick her into workouts. Was there somebody in your family or a close somebody who kind of got you going and working you out?
So actually, my parents were really supportive with, because especially, like in competitive sports, you see parents who are forcing their kids to be in the gym or, making them work out. And I think that's kind of where you lose the love for the game a little bit. So they were really like good about when I wanted to go work out, they would come with me, and they asked me every year, is this still something you want to do? Just making sure that I still loved it. And I think that helped to grow my love for it because it was an option. I wasn't forced to do it. So I wanted to get better. So I wanted to go to the gym, and they were with me every step of the way. So that's actually something I'm really thankful for.
I saw a really cool quote that you had about your dad talking about not showing your emotions too much in the game because you don't want to give the opponent an unfair advantage, knowing you're a little bit frustrated or whatever. And I thought that was so cool. Jotted it down in my notes for when I have kids and if they want to play sports, not going to push them. You're definitely your own player and you're an amazing player. So please don't take this in the wrong way, but you have drawn some amazing comparisons. When I watch you play, I have double takes of Tamika Catching's game. And I know Duana Bonner had an article that she wrote commenting about how she saw herself in you. And there's been other greats that I've seen. I mean, it's a hard debate because you have so many facets of your game. But I'm curious for you, what WNBA players you really looked up to, or maybe were like watching some film and said, I'm going to steal that move?
So thank you, first of all. And Maya Moore is someone that I've always watched because we're from the same hometown, we went to the same college, and then the same professional team. So she's someone I kind of watched growing up. And now that I'm in the league and, leading up to the league, I feel like I try to watch everyone's game and take like little pieces from everyone because obviously everyone's there for a reason. they're all really good. And so I try to see different things in their game that I can apply to mine. Candice Parker is, kind of the same build as mine, so it's easy to watch her, and she's such a great player. And obviously, I'm close with her, so being able to watch her game and try to, just look at different tips and tricks that people have in their game and try to apply it to your own. So, broad question, like broad answer, but I try to, watch everyone and kind of see how they do it and see if I can apply it to my game.
Well, I'm sure the rest of the league is happy Maya hasn't been on the same team as you during the season because I think that might be a little unfair. I know, Rachel, you got a question. Go for it.
No, you made a comment, just to go back to your previous answer about, not being pressured to play, um, or to work out, or, right now we live in an era where kids have to specialize, or there's a lot of pressure to specialize in their sport at a really, really young age. Like, I know for me, I played anything and everything growing up, even through high school. Um, this is a two-part question. What are your thoughts on that, in terms of just not burning out, not specializing at a super young age, which is become a problem in my opinion. I'm curious your thoughts, but then also, just kind of what would be your advice to parents who have young children who are, kind of getting involved, and those girls who want to try different sports and not necessarily having to have that pressure of cutting everything out right now.
I definitely agree with you about not specializing in a sport too young because there is burnout. I mean, even at our age, like at my age in the league, it becomes your job and you want to be able to take a break and things like that. So when you're so young and you're forced to only play one sport, I think it really does hurt more than it helps because you kind of lose a love for the game. And again, that's why I'm so thankful that my parents weren't like that and I got to play so many sports. And I've said this for a long time, but I think soccer is a great base sport for any other thing that you want to do because the footwork is so crucial and you can use it really with any sport. And I think it's one of the reasons why my footwork is really good. It's because I played soccer for so long. And you can use different sports to specialize in the one that you choose to use anyway. I played volleyball. I think it helped with my jumping. Soccer helped with my footwork. Track helps with running. I've gotten complimented on, a good motor and being able to keep going. It's because I played track. I ran track for so long. So I think definitely playing a bunch of different sports, seeing what you like, is helpful. And I would definitely, someday when I have kids, I'm definitely making them try everything before we hone in on one.
Yeah. Well, you're 2 years in to your WNBA professional career. Looking back, kind of reflecting on season 1 to season 2, what were some of the adjustments that you kind of had to make when you were heading into your second season, following your Rookie of the Year season? And what was the hardest adjustment that you had to make?
So my game wise, like playing wise, some adjustments I had to make were, it's the second year, so people know what you like to do. So you're not going to be able to score in the same ways. So I like to be in the mid post. I like to be by the block a lot, and people knew what I wanted to do, so they tried to take that away. So I had to learn how to score in other ways, of coming off ball screens or whatever it was. And that was obviously a bit of an adjustment, but I knew it was coming, so it was something that I worked on the off season. And then also being named captain was an adjustment because my style of leadership is usually lead by example. But unfortunately, our other two captains they weren't able to play because of injuries. So I was kind of the only one out there. So it took me out of my comfort zone a little bit because I had to be a lot more vocal than I normally am. But I obviously think it helps me grow as a person and a player because being put in that position, I had to do things that I wasn't comfortable with. And by the end of the season, it felt normal. And I definitely want to get even better at it in the future. But although obviously I wish my other captains were out there with me, I'm glad that I got to kind of grow in that area.
I'm curious, as somebody who is not a top level elite athlete, we see you working out with Candice Parker and some other WNBA players who aren't on your team. Do you ever have in the back of your mind, like, I'm working on this move, but I have to play Candice in the season, and maybe she'll expect it, or she's giving me tips, and then she'll know how to stuff me? Is that ever a concern? Is that something that pops up in your head?
I honestly think about it in the reverse. Like when we're doing that, I'm like, okay, so when she does this move, I kind of know what I'm gonna do. But I really think that. So okay, going back, growing up, coach always like defense wins games and defense wins championships, and it definitely does. But I think that the game is becoming way more offensive because, I mean, people are just good players and they're going to score. So when you're doing those moves and we're practicing, no matter if you know what I'm doing or not, you're going to be able to get it off and get to what you want to do. So I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, she's not going to be able to stop me, but I'm trying to look for ways to stop her when we do those things.
What is one part of your game that you think kind of gets overlooked? Like one of your biggest strengths that maybe isn't necessarily talked about a lot?
I think I'm really efficient, and sometimes I feel like that's why I get overlooked is because my game isn't really flashy. But when you look at the stats or you look at what I'm doing in games, I feel like I do a lot of things. I feel like I'm well rounded, so I feel like that kind of gets overlooked sometimes.
You pretty much just stuff the entire stat sheet. So, and you have
Yes.
for a very long time, taking it back from your early days at UConn. And I do want to touch on that. You know, you coming from UConn, and obviously as intricate as preparation is at the college level, what's the preparation like now in the WNBA in terms of film study, X's and O's, tendencies, two very high levels we're talking about, but just from your experience, the last few years, what have been the big differences between the two?
So I think I was also lucky to go to UConn where they prepare their players really well for the league. Just in the way that we practice is really similar to the coaching style that I have now with Cheryl Reeve. Just expecting kind of like the highest level of excellence every day, just giving 100% with everything. So physically preparing is kind of the same, but I think what's different is body wise, like what I eat has to be a lot different than what I could just eat in college. I could pretty much eat whatever I wanted, but I'm starting to feel it a little bit more now with my diet. If I eat like fried food or fast food, I kind of feel it in practice the next day. So that was a shock that
Oh yeah,
I didn't like. And then also there's only 12 teams in the league. So playing them over and over again, it's hard to play the same people because they learn really quickly what you like to do. And we play them like a minimum of 3 times, sometimes 4 times in a season. So it gets harder and harder each time. So you really have to know the scout. You get in trouble a lot quicker because we play them so many times. If you allow them to do something that's on the scout or what they like to do, obviously coaches have a short temper with that because you should know by now. So those are kind of adjustments that I had to make.
I know if you haven't already listened to your podcast with Asia, everybody needs to listen to it. It's hilarious. It's informative. It's just great content. First of all, the side note, I want you to answer after you answer this question. If you guys are doing more episodes, we need to know because the people have been asking for the tea. But can you kind of you touched on your rookie season in one of the podcasts? I'm blanking on. I think it might have been with the one with Candice Parker. You talked about being so driven to win Rookie of the Year. And can you talk about why that was for the folks who haven't heard that podcast episode?
Yeah. So pretty much, I mean, after my senior year, it was really just a whirlwind. With how it's set up, the WNBA draft is really soon after the college season. So we went to the Final Four, and then like 3 days later, I was in New York for the draft. A week later, I was at training camp at Minnesota, and 2 weeks after that, we had our first game. So it's just like one thing after another, super quick. And going on a new team, everything is different, everything is new. You have new teammates, new city, new plays, which is always hard to learn, especially in such a short time period. So it was kind of the only thing that it was like a steady goal that I could set for myself because I didn't know what was going to happen with the team. Like I said, everything was new, and it was kind of like a steady point in like a storm kind of thing, like just going around you. And so I just knew that I could control what I did when I got on the court. I didn't know what my playing time was going to be like or anything like that. But when I was on the court, I knew that I needed to show them what I could do. And so, like I said, it was kind of just an anchor for me in the craziness that I thought my rookie year would be.
All right, Napheesa, what are you up to now? I know you're getting ready to go back overseas. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? And also, you just recently released Through the Lens, which is a really cool project I know you've been working on. Tell us about that and everything that you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I am going to play in France in Montpellier in February. So I've just kind of been training for that. And yeah, we released Through the Lens, which is it's like a training website where it's a deep dive into basketball. And this first release has 4 players, me, Candice Parker, Carmelo Anthony, and Trae Young. And it's kind of just like a behind the scenes deep dive into how we got to be the players we are today. It goes, personal things we had to go through and kind of our tricks, what we use on the court, our best moves and what we look for when we're doing those. And later, different packets are going to be with pretty much everyone in the basketball world. So podcasters like you guys or reporters, analysts, everything, just like a really deep dive into basketball. So we've been working on it since quarantine, really. So it's really cool to see the finished product and have it launched.
Yeah, I was checking it out a few days ago and I was like, wow, first off, this is really well done. I don't know who
Thank you.
is behind the camera with this, but it looks phenomenal. You guys have done a great job. I'm excited to see where that goes.
Thank you.
What about specifically skill-wise? You've got a target on your back now. You're one of the top names in the league in terms of, just up-and-comers and obviously a force to be reckoned with. But what are you working on skill-wise to take your game to the next?
Being at the 3 position, just all around, I think is what I'm working on. I played the 4 for so long, just being around the basket. And like I said, people know that I want to be there. So I have to be able to expand my game. And, ball handling is a big thing, being able to shoot the 3 more consistently and off of different moves, like coming off screens or on the move, things like that. So really just working on my guard game.
It's going to be an exciting third season for you. I'm hoping there's fans. I'm hoping it's all as scheduled. I'm curious, what is it like to be coached by Cheryl Reeve? She's one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach in WNBA history. She can come off extremely intimidating, at least from a reporter's perspective. I don't know about for the players, but I also feel that, from watching this Lynx team for so many years, I feel, and maybe I'm just crazy, but that this younger team has kind of revitalized her in of youth, and she's a little bit more goofy with the who's next or what's next thing during the season. I thought that was hilarious because I never thought I'd see a Cheryl Reeve doing that. Talk to me about your relationship with her and kind of what's that like?
She's awesome. And I think there's a reason that she has done so well in the league. She does a great job of learning personalities and learning how to manage different people. She does a great job with that. And it's something, obviously I had a great coach in college, but it's a little different in college with how you can treat like how you deal with players because, you're a recruiter there and things like that. But once you get to the league, that temperaments are a little bit different. And the way she handles everyone is just amazing. So she is really goofy, and that's kind of the only coach that I've known. Is she's super easy to be around, super approachable, and it was really fun in the wobble because she kind of let loose a little bit in that video, like you saw. Oh my goodness, we learned that she's likes to dance, but maybe not the best dancer. But it was awesome. I love being a part of this program, having her as my coach.
Three best Lynx parts of the season, in my opinion, at least, was Cheryl Reeve's dance moves, you giving Dangerfield a piggyback ride off the court, and then the shimmy. Because for me personally, I love when I know you were doing it for the coaches and not for the fans at home, but I just love that little jolt of excitement and that little yeah, I did that temperament. Now, I feel like you might be a little bit too nice to actually answer this, so try and be as honest as you can.
Okay.
But in this league, or in most sports leagues in general, we really talk about rivalries and build up games. And now when you came to Minnesota, we all know about the Lynx Sparks matchup. It's kind of lost some of its shine, not because it's not two great teams, but because you guys aren't playing in the finals every year, which might be a little bit better for the league's growth. But I'm curious, are there games that you kind of feel the pressure or the weight of, I got to show up, or this is personal? Like maybe when you play Asia and you're friends with her, so you want to kind of show her off. But talk to me about the rivalries and that camaraderie or rivalry feeling.
There is kind of a lot of rivalry feelings, especially last year. Just, I went number 6 and I'm really glad I'm at Minnesota. But there's also another part of me that was like, to the coaches who passed me up, I want to play well when I play against you guys. So there was like that every time I played one of those teams. And then if I played against a UConn player, I wanted to show out, obviously. And then when I played against Enrique, because we were so close in our rookie of the year race, I really wanted to play well against that team. And I think Dallas is still a team where they're so scrappy. And for some reason, it's like, it's close every single game. It's like high and low. And we've been able to pull it out this past 2 years, but every single time it's really close and just really physical. So Dallas is probably a really good rivalry game for us right now.
You are a big reader. I need some help. I need some books to read. What are some of your favorite books? What are you reading now? How has that been kind of a big part of your life, or necessarily maybe even an escape from basketball? How has that helped basketball? Talk to us about your love for.
I do love reading. I think both my parents love reading, so I'm sure it came from both sides. And my favorite books are usually murder mysteries. I really like those. So Ruth Ware is a great
Yes.
author. How would you say?
I said yes. I love it.
Yeah. Yes, I love it too. Ruth Ware, Sarah Pekkanen, and a lot of her books like The Wife Between Us. They have a couple other ones. I really like them. And I'm reading now Throne of Glass. It's by Sarah J. Moss or something like that, I think. It's like a fantasy book it's like an alternate universe kind of thing. She's like an assassin. I don't know. I like it a lot. I'm on like the third book of this series. But yeah, I think reading is always an escape. It's better than a movie, like in your mind. And especially during the season, I really like reading because basketball is your whole life. And sometimes you get too caught up in it, especially if you're like in a slump or something where you're not playing well, you kind of overanalyze. And I just found that it helps me do better on the court when I can just take a step back and not kind of obsess over it. Just let my mind go a little bit. So yeah, reading is definitely an escape and just, fun activity. And I don't know, I love it.
I got to get more books under my belt because I'm not a good reader. So
It's
we
so
have
fun.
I enjoy a good book, but it's hard to get, like, once you get into it, I'm like all in. I'll read it nonstop, but it takes me that, the first chapter's really got
Yeah.
to pull me in.
Yeah, I feel you.
But so what we like to do is we call it rapid fire. It's never rapid fire because the questions we ask are never as easy as just like blurting out the first thing that comes to mind. Some of them are tough, some of them are fun. Feel free to answer as quick as you can, as slow as you want. No pressure. Rachel, take it away.
All right. What was your favorite moment from this past season/bubble?
My favorite moment from this past season, when we made it to the semifinals and when we beat Phoenix, that was a great moment because, it was kind of like no one really thought we were going to get there. And Sylvia was like trying so hard to get back, and she wanted us obviously to win that game so much so she could play again in the final. That was before the semi. It was to get to the semis. She wanted to play in the semis with us. It was just really emotional after because of all that. So that was like a great feeling.
I remember that game. I have goosebumps listening to you talk about it because I think we all felt that. Yeah. Okay, thinking back to your first year in the league, do you have that welcome to the league moment, kind of that hit you in the face?
Oh my gosh, I literally remember this exact moment. It was when we first played New York, and Kia Nurse, my old teammate, I was guarding her and she was just lighting me up. I think she had like 30 points that game. And I never knew Kia was that fast when I was playing with her, but playing against her, trying to keep up with her, going through those screens and everything, I'm getting screamed at. I can't keep up with her. It was just definitely, I'm like, wow, these are professional athletes.
Tell me, do you have a pregame ritual or superstition? And if you do, what is it?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I used to be so superstitious and it would like consume my mind. I'm like, okay, what did I have for breakfast? What side of the bed did I wake on? Just little things. I'm like, okay, this has to stop. But the one I kept was I put my left sock on, then my right sock, then my left shoe, then my right shoe. I kept that one.
Interesting.
It would like be every single, if I had a good game, I would try to literally repeat the exact same day however I could, and it just became too exhausting.
I love talking to the players and hearing the different rituals. Like when we had Simone on, well, first of all, Crystal claims she does not have one. And I was like, you are the first player that I've ever talked to who claims that she doesn't have one at all. I was like blown away. Because when we talked to Simone, she could recite the exact meal she would have before games in Minnesota down to like the 4 sides and like the level of spiciness that she was getting. It was pretty ridiculous.
See, we get crazy.
Look, I would be the same. I mean, I've heard stories from old Lynx players that they used to hide like MD 2020, that weird drink that you always see in the back shelf of the liquor store for $1. They'd hide it somewhere in the locker room or a water bottle in it, like very, very detailed superstitions of the Lynx. So
yeah.
Cheryl
is the most superstitious person you've ever met. So that's probably why. She's so crazy about it.
Had she like come to you and been like, Napheesa, I noticed that you were wearing a blue sock last game, and this game you decided to wear
literally one. Yes, like, and she's serious. She's not joking. Like, if we do something and we lose or if we win, like, she seriously gets mad at the staff. Like, what did we do different? I'm like, oh my god.
Well, because it couldn't be that you guys weren't properly prepared or didn't play your heart out. It it has to be
No.
that one random
We did
thing.
something wrong. We didn't put the TV the way it should be. That's what happened.
Oh yeah, the 40-degree angle. Now the Minnesota Lynx have loved to use your name in a variety of different puns, and I have been blown away with the creativity. Which is your favorite name pun that you have seen so far?
Oh my gosh. I have no idea. They are out of control. I have no idea. There's been so many. I don't know. I had to talk to Cody. I'm like, Cody, enough.
slow it down a little bit, Cody.
I like how creative you are, but enough. I don't know which one's my favorite. They've had some good ones though. Some of them are really good. I have to laugh and commend them. I don't know.
All right, we'll give you a pass on that one. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Ooh, I would go to probably Egypt. I really want to see the pyramids, and I think Egyptian history is so fascinating. So that would be an awesome place.
Who wins in one-on-one, you or Alex?
Me, of course.
Yes. Love it. This is where it gets a little bit hard. We got 2 more questions for you, and then we'll be out of your hair. But who talks the most trash in the league? Because this season, what I think one of the huge positives for the fans of the bubble was we could hear you guys talking a little more. Like Diana Taurasi telling the ref she'll meet him in the lobby was probably the greatest single moment in TV history, in my opinion. Because you expect her to like say that to a player who maybe take the charge or something, but to a ref is just next level. Is there a player that when I say talk trash, I call it the Diana Taurasi Award? Besides Diana, I guess. Is there anybody else who comes to mind?
Candy Carter is going to be the next Diana Taurasi with trash talking. She loves to talk trash.
Okay, I love it. And that does not surprise me at all. All right, last question, and we will let you go. What was it like to get the torch passed to you from the great Simone Augustus to lead this Minnesota Lynx team?
It was awesome. And honestly, I got so lucky with my vets having Simone and Sil. I couldn't have asked for 2 better vets. They automatically took me under their wing. And just made me feel so comfortable on the team. And the fact that someone like Simone said that, it was such an honor. So I definitely want to do that and, make her proud, even though she's not with us anymore. I'm still sad, but, I love Simone. And like I said, I want to do her proud and do everything I can for this organization.
As of now, we don't know what free agency holds. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, REA was devastated. We won't get into how devastated he was after that one. But we will.
Born and raised in Minnesota. There's some legends that it's like Brett Favre coming to Minnesota and for Viking. It's just weird. It's weird.
Well, Napheesa, thank you so much for your time. We wish you the best of luck as you head over to France. Travel safe. We cannot wait to see you back out on the court.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Winsidr is your one-stop shop for all your WNBA news and conversation, but we can't do without your help. Become a subscriber at patreon.com/Winsidr. For just a few dollars a month, you can directly help grow the game. And don't forget to hit subscribe on this podcast and on The Floor Game by Ben Dole, presented by Winsidr.